الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فلما جاء أمرنا جعلنا عاليها سافلها وأمطرنا عليها حجارة من سجيل منضود مسومة عند ربك وما هي من الظالمين ببعيد صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Surah Hud, and last night we had read what happened with the people of Hazrat Lut alayhi salam, and there's some ma'arif that should be explained inshallah about this. The one thing to note is that his wife, which was very much part of his family, she was destroyed in the azab, in the punishment, and she was a kafira, she was a disbeliever, yet she was the wife of a nabi. So therefore our relations and our connections with people only matter when we have iman, when we have faith. And it is very much possible that even though we have relations with a lot of good, great, pious people, if we are not good and believers within ourselves, if we do not have iman, then all of those will not matter. Similarly, the other thing that should be noted is that in the house of the most pious person of the time was a big, huge kafira, a kafir woman. Therefore, we understand that still Sayyidina Lut ala Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam was a perfectly accepted Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, sometimes we look at somebody who's very pious, who's very pious, but we start to say things about them because of their family. That have you seen their family? Have you seen their women? Have you seen their children? How bad their behavior is? Sometimes the family is not in our control, and this has happened to Anbiya. Therefore, it is only the will of Allah, whom Allah chooses and whom Allah does not choose to guide. Therefore, our job is to keep on asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for goodness and iman and steadfastness. The third thing that should be talked about is that why did the people of Sayyidina Lut ala Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam get this punishment? And this is a delicate topic, but because my Shaykh has specifically commanded me to talk about it, inshallah, I'll do my best. The three things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned here is that these people did it openly and daringly. Number one, openly and daringly. Second thing, they were ready to do it without the permission and forcefully. Third thing, they did not even respect the sanctity of the house of a person, and they were ready to attack. So the sinning of the people of Lut and the sinning of a Muslim, in the words of my Shaykh, there is a huge difference between the sinning of a Muslim and the sinning of the people of Lut. If Muslims also start to do it publicly and openly and forcefully and daringly and considering it a right of themselves, then they will also become deserving of the punishment of what was given to Sayyidina Lut, the people of Sayyidina Lut ala Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam. But if a Muslim is sinner and they are constantly ashamed about it, they are constantly fearful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about it, they do not consider it that this is my right, this is how I am, this is what I will do, and this is what I have a right to, I am entitled to. But they are very, very scared of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and keep on repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A sinner who commits a sin and repents to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very different from a sinner who is daring and rebellious. Therefore, even if somebody does the worst of mistakes, the worst of sins, still they repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they are a believer and they submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the fold of mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As long as they are living, there is forgiveness for them. There is forgiveness for them. This is very important to talk about these days, because we are living in a society all across the world. This thing is increasing. And people are considering it their right, saying that this is how we are, this is our nature. Na'udhu billah. And not only this, but all sorts of different deranged types of orientations. That we have attraction towards this, we have attraction towards that, we have attraction towards this, we have attraction towards that. And then if you tell them the hard and fast command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that this is unnatural and there is punishment for it. There is, in my very short experience, I have met multiple people who were ready to give up Islam because they were not ready to give up this sin, because they were failing. They were in a position that this is who we are. No matter how hard we try, this happens. We do this. So then, is there no place in Islam for us? And this is the case with other religions, that when they tell them that there is no forgiveness for you or there is no space for you, they give up that religion. And the way of our teachers and the way of our mashayikh is that no matter how inferior in terms of deeds a person may be, if they say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and if they have the slightest regard of them being a Muslim, you should attract them and pull them towards Islam rather than pushing them away. So therefore, and this is going to get worse and worse and worse. We are seeing this today. No matter, we don't know what our children will see. So this is very important that we remember that, of course, it's a major, worst kind of sin. And the only permissible way to fulfill a man's desire is with their wife in the allowed prescribed manner, which is from the front. But if somebody is a sinner and at least they have this shame in their heart, they should work further on their shame and they should work further on their tawbah. This is similarly, last night when I talked about this with my shaykh, he said that also mention the practice of self-pleasure, the thing that people do, that they please their own selves with their hands. Remember that it's a major sin. Nobody disagrees. But in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is always room for those who are ashamed and who repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they keep on doing it, every time they do it, they repent, there will come a day that Allah will help them and make them give up that evil habit. Even if it does not happen and they keep on doing it for life, if they keep on repenting, inshallah on the day of judgment they will be accepted in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as Muslims, as believers, as people of faith, as people who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are several examples in the history of great pious people who became great muttaqi and mashayikh and ulama of their time. Qazi Fuzail bin Ayaz, Bishr Hafi, if I remember correct, Abdullah ibn Mubarak as well. Their history, Hazrat, these people became great muhaddiseen, great ulama, and their life was not very good. The beginning part or some part of their life was not very good. They were doing some really great sins, but they repented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and their shame made them the greatest awliya of their time. And this principle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lasts today. So even if somebody has committed or has this weakness in them that they commit a sin again and again and again, if they have shame and they keep on repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is still chances are open that they could become the greatest awliya of their time, the greatest muqarrabeen, the most pious people of their time. With Allah's mercy, there is nothing that's far from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this story of Hazrat Lut ala Nabi salatu wasalam, in his very house, there was somebody who was very close to the closest relationship with the Nabi. Still they were a kafir. Similarly, in this Had Ibrahim ala Nabi salatu wasalam that we just talked about 2 days ago, he was the son of a greatest kafir, but he was closely related to a kafir, a person who would worship idols, but Allah created in his house, Allah raised in his house a Nabi of his time. Similarly, Siddiq radiallahu anh, he was the son of a person who would worship idols. And Abu Jahl, he was born right in the Khana Kaaba. But Abu Jahl became Abu Jahl although he was born in the Khana Kaaba. And Siddiq became Siddiq Akbar although he was born to a a kafir, a mushrik family. So this is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah can choose whoever He wants. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not care about our backgrounds. What Allah cares about is, are we rebellious or do we submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If one submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with shame, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim wa tub alayna innaka antat tawwabur rahim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forget any shortcomings that we may have made. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all that was said and heard. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim wa tub alayna innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Sallallahu ta'ala ala khayri khalqihi sayyidina wa nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amin bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.